Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Will. I'm the host of The Bald Book Geek. How are all of you? Before we get going, all of my links are in the doobly-doo, and if you guys are interested in viewing my videos and exclusive content on other platforms, do check those out. Partly because it's safer, and if you want some money off some products, check that out as well, because they're all there and I might as well use them. My Patreon and all that too. So, hi. The comic books industry is in a weird place. And with the announcements that the Tamaka woman is going to be co-helming Detective Comics and Batman, this is not good. Let's start with the basics. The comic book industry is going through changes, and it's not a good thing. A lot's been going on, and with the announcement of sort of this focus on YA Comics and DC trying to become like Scholastics, and then you have Marvel doing their thing, they need to take a step back and go, we're going to stop pandering. The comic books industry is not in a good place, and pricing is one thing. Like, a little comic book is quite expensive, like £5 or £6 for some issues. We're not talking like a full-blown graphic novel, we're talking a little comic book. The death of the comic book shop. Especially in the UK, like, comic book shops are few and far between. If they do exist, there's a handful of chains. But then you go even further into the rabbit hole, and there's a whole other things. Comic book companies, the big ones, are trying to sell comics to an audience that don't buy comic books. A lot of young people just read manga, and the young people that are reading comic books are not into what they're selling. They try to shoehorn in every form of representation under the sun, and the problem with that is, especially with things like I Am Starfire and a handful of others, it's completely and utterly there to sell a book. It's not real. I'm trying to think of the word, but it's not real. It's just forced in, shoehorned in, it's unnatural, and it just honestly has almost a fan fiction vibe, which I just cannot stand. Representation should be natural. It should fit the context of the world they've created. And now they just shoehorn in, they replace things, like Marvel deciding to make the Captain America a Nazi sleeper agent. That was a stupid storyline. Shoehorning all this stuff in to rewrite history, to rewrite the characters, hiring writers that don't like the characters, don't like the source material, trying to sell comics to people who don't read. You see people on Twitter all the time going, oh, I want diversity in my comic books, I want this representation, I want that representation. But you're not buying the books. Like, you want this stuff, put your money in your wallet and effing buy it. I'm trying not to swear in my videos because I keep getting in trouble. Actually buy it. Talk with your wallet. If you want something, buy it. Don't just moan that it flops and doesn't sell, and then blame the real fans that are actually invested in these characters and these storylines and these universes, going, all cis white men are evil and they're the patriarchy and they're gonna destroy they don't want this, and that's the reason this movie flopped, and that's the reason this graphic novel flopped and this book flopped. No, you are. Because you say you want it, and you're so tent up on pushing everything into this one graphic novel, but you never actually buy it. There's the point. You can moan about it on Twitter, and I've said this before, book Twitter does not represent real readers. It represents like 1%, where everything is a political statement, or everything is about this, and it's, forcing politics, forcing a narrative, alienates readers, and it also puts people off who are just casual fans. It also, you can't have your cake and eat it if you're not going to pay for it. One of the other big issues they seem to have are these writers they keep hiring. Like, why are you hiring these people that attack people on the internet, that instead of doing all graphic novels, all comic books have always been a subtle conversation on what's going on, a reaction to what's going on in the real world, be it politics, be it social, be it whatever. But instead of commentating on this stuff, they're shoehorning in pro-communism stuff. Like, there was a writer that she quit Twitter that did that. That is a problem. And these YA graphic novels are basically dead, and YA actually as a readership is dying. And it is dying because it's if you see the sales numbers of these things, it's actually bad. It's very bad. I'm very digital with my graphic novels, partly because I don't want tons of paper. I don't have the space for it. Some people don't have the access to that, and some people don't have the access to comic book shops, and they only have to use they've only got Amazon to buy this stuff, or they have to order it through their local bookstore and stuff like that. Supply issues, costing issues, trying to get this stuff in the first place is a problem. cost is off the charts, and the cost of these things is going up by the day. I know it's inflation, but I remember being able to buy a comic book for £2. The industry is at this weird point where it's so pent up on trying to please the Twitter mob and the people that scream the loudest, they're not thinking, well, maybe we shouldn't listen to the people that scream the loudest. It's always the people that scream the loudest that are the most ignorant. These people scream this stuff, but there is a certain level of ignorance and lack of education behind it. And it's sad they get the most attention. Stop trying to please the Twitter mob and actually care about your readership. Think, what do people actually want? No one wants I Am Starfire. I'm not Starfire, I should say. No one wants that crappy comic. People want Batman, they want Catwoman, they want Wonder Woman, they want the Flash, they want these iconic characters handled and done with respect and done well. And we all know how it's going to go. Like I said, I'm Not Starfire is going to flop, and then the Twitter mob is going to blame everyone but the problem. So people like me are going to get the blame. Maybe if the graphic novel companies, DC and Marvel, stop trying to please the idiots on Twitter, the Twitter mob of morons, the people that virtue signal and play and wear their victimhood like a badge of honor, then maybe they would actually sell a few comic books. Maybe fans wouldn't be so alienated. And also they need to realize that the people seeing the comic book movies are not necessarily the ones that are going to be buying the graphic novels either. So, tell me what you think in the comments below. Like I said at the start of the video, all of my links and info in the doobly-doo, and I will talk to you guys later.